Hi, John. How are you this week?
Hi, Elliot. I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm good too, thank you. So the Supreme Court issued a couple of interesting decisions today that at least one element of them has to do with the anti-money laundering community. Did you see the two decisions related to the subpoenas issued to the president for his some of his personal financial records?
Yeah, obviously a lot of really smart folks will dive in and give detailed analysis of both of these cases. But the thing that struck me was a focus on the subpoena oversight done or the subpoenas issued as oversight by the House Financial Services Committee. And those of us in the AML community know that those subpoenas were issued to both Deutsche Bank and Capital One, and I believe a number of other entities for both financial records and tax records. What I found interesting about it was the rationale given by House Financial Services was an effort to close loopholes that allow for corruption, terrorism, and money laundering. And so the theory was that by getting this information, they could see whether or not there were loopholes dealing with illicit money, Russian oligarchs, the potential use of anonymous shell companies and real estate investments. So that was the rationale to seek the information. So there is clearly a connection to our community.
Right, and the court talked in a somewhat lengthy opinion, did talk about a number of things. One was this whole issue of a legislative purpose for Congress to issue these types of subpoenas. They also talked about a separation of powers issue, which is not really an AML issue for our audience, but it was in part on that basis that they sent the case back to the trial court for further activity. What did House Financial Services have to say about the opinion today?
Well, sure, more quotes are coming out, obviously, from members of the committee, but Chairwoman Waters said that she feels, embolden's the wrong word, but she feels there's a roadmap now for how to seek the information, and still believes that the rationale made sense, but there are a number of steps that the court said you had to follow. And I think one of them included things like, can this information be gathered from some other method, things like that. But definitely the rationale to look at whether or not there needs to be new proposals to prevent the abuse of the financial system is still in play. And as we know from previous conversations you and I have had, there are some AML reform measures pending in the House and Senate, and some of it does address or deal with issues that are covered by the themes in these subpoenas.
Right. So just for clarity, there were subpoenas issued by both House Financial Services, but also by one of the intelligence committees. And the issue there was their legislative purpose was looking at whether or not there needed to be additional legislation related to interference with elections. So again, still more work for each of the committees to do to ultimately have it determined whether they're going to get the material, but definitely a step forward, at least in these cases, so procedurally. Clearly what the result of this is, by the way, in my mind, John, is that nothing is going to be received by the committees prior to the fall election.
Yeah, I think that's right. And, again, as they send it back down to the lower courts, one of the things acknowledged by the Supreme Court in their decision is that the Court of Appeals had concluded that the subpoenas to Deutsche and Capital One were adequately related to potential legislation, again, on money laundering and terrorist financing and the movement of funds globally through the real estate market. So they said this is not an attempt to improperly target the president. This information was appropriate. But obviously, the Supreme Court believes that there are other steps that should have been taken by the lower courts to allow this to continue.
Right. Real quickly, the other case that came down today was Trump v. Vance, and that was in the state court action by the the Attorney General, I believe, of New York. So that's a different set of issues. Again, not a definitive hand over the documents decision, but certainly there's more to come on in that case too. Not more as directly related to our community as the Mazars decision.
Yeah, and the one last thing I'll mention: both Deutsche and Capital One have said, of course, they will follow the law and respond to requests appropriately. So this was not a situation where these banks refused to respond. It was obviously because of the pleadings by the Trump administration.
Correct. All right. Well, have a good weekend, and probably talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Take care.
Bye, John.